The night was heavy with silence, the kind that blankets a lonely highway and makes every sound sharper, more deliberate. Elon Musk, fresh from a Tesla keynote event in Austin, gripped the wheel of his midnight blue Model S Plaid, its autopilot disabled so he could enjoy the drive. The highway stretched ahead, a ribbon of asphalt illuminated only by the LED sweep of his headlights. It had been a long day, a keynote that ran over schedule, a barrage of media interviews, dozens of decisions about upcoming launches and engineering, deadlines that still rattled in his head. Now, well past midnight, he was finally heading home, cutting through a quiet corner of Texas, where street lights were rare and the stars burned brighter than any city ever allowed. The hum of the electric motors was his only companion, a steady, soothing rhythm. He wasn't speeding, exactly 65 miles per hour, right on the limit, both hands on the wheel. Years in the public eye had taught him discipline, precision, and caution. So when the sharp flash of red and blue lights exploded in his rearview mirror, his first reaction wasn't fear or guilt, but confusion. His brow furrowed, eyes flicking from the speedometer back to the road. No mistakes, no swerves, no reason for this. Yet the police cruiser behind him didn't waver, its siren slicing through the Texas night. Musk exhaled slowly, his jaw tightening, signaling right and guiding his car onto the shoulder with the calm precision of someone who had been through high-pressure situations before. He'd worked with law enforcement in various contexts, from securing launch sites to test driving prototypes in closed areas. He respected the badge. This is just a misunderstanding, he told himself. Quick check, then I'm back on the road. But as the cruiser rolled to a stop behind him, headlights bathing his car in harsh white glare, something felt off. The officer was taking too long to exit, too deliberate. Musk adjusted the rearview mirror to catch a glimpse. Finally, the cruiser's door opened. Out stepped Officer Daniel K.S., compact in frame, but with a posture that screamed not earned authority, but demanded authority. His left hand rested on his belt, fingers brushing the holster of his firearm, while his right swung a flashlight back and forth, its beam slicing through the darkness. Boots crunched gravel as he approached, each step heavy, aggressive. Musk lowered his window, keeping both hands visible on the yoke steering wheel, palms up in a clear gesture of compliance. "Evening, officer," he said, voice calm, even the same tone he used with skeptical investors to diffuse tension. KS didn't return the greeting. Instead, he leaned down, flashlight sweeping across Musk's face. "Lingering too long. License and registration," he barked, flat-toned, chewing gum with an infuriatingly slow rhythm. No explanation, no courtesy, just a demand. Musk's eyes narrowed slightly. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. "May I ask why I'm being pulled over?" he said, still even and professional. KS stopped chewing for a moment, tilting his head like the question was an insult. "License, registration," he repeated, slower this time, each clipped word carrying a warning. Musk exhaled quietly. He'd dealt with people like this before. Small men with big egos, who wore authority like a weapon. He wasn't here to argue, not yet. "All right, officer," he said, voice still measured. "I'm reaching for my wallet in the center console." Slowly, deliberately, he reached. His right hand moved toward the console, his left staying visible on the wheel. He pulled out his wallet, flipping it open to reveal his driver's license, and beside it, his unmistakable SpaceX ID, the bold SpaceX insignia glinting in the beam. He held it out, expecting some recognition, maybe a softening of the tension, but KS barely glanced at it. "Tech guy?" He said, skepticism dripping from his tone. "That's supposed to mean something to me." Musk kept his composure. "It's who I am. Now, can you tell me why I'm being stopped?" Silence. Only the faint hum of the cruiser's engine and the steady chewing of gum. Then, KS spoke. "Step out of the vehicle." Elon blinked, the word "step out of the vehicle" ringing in his ears. It wasn't the volume of the command that caught him, it was the way it was delivered. Cold, wrong. "Excuse me?" he asked, his voice still calm but carrying a sharper edge now, a thread of steel beneath the politeness. Officer KS took a half step back, his right hand hovering near the grip of his firearm, left hand still gripping the flashlight. "I said, step out of the car." The tension thickened, pressing into Musk's chest like a physical weight. He'd been in high-stakes situations before: rocket launch failures, legal showdowns, public confrontations with critics. But this was different. This wasn't a debate. This was a man with a gun, a badge, and an attitude that screamed trouble. Musk's pulse stayed steady, but his mind ran through scenarios with the speed of a Falcon 9 trajectory calculation. He knew protocol, he knew his rights, but he also knew how fast situations like this could spiral when the wrong person was in control. "Officer, I've complied with your requests," he said deliberately, his voice low. "I've shown you my identification. If there's an issue, let's call your supervisor." KS's jaw flexed. His voice rose just enough to betray irritation. "I don't need a supervisor. I said get out." Musk didn't move, not out of defiance, but because his instincts told him this wasn't about a traffic stop anymore. It was about control. "On what grounds, officer?" For the first time, KS hesitated. His lips parted, as if searching for a response, but instead of answering, he took a step closer. The flashlight dropped slightly. His right hand unfastened the snap on his holster. Click. The sound was soft, but to Musk it echoed like a gunshot. "I don't have to explain myself to you," KS said, his voice low and dangerous. Musk knew the type. He'd read enough reports, seen enough headlines. Traffic stops that escalated into tragedies in seconds. People who did everything right and still didn't make it home. "You do, actually," Musk replied, his voice calm but cutting. "You're required to articulate a reason for this stop and any further action. And I'm not stepping out until you tell me why." Kay's eyes narrowed. "I don't give a damn who you are," he spat. "You think that ID means something to me? Get out, or I'll make you." The threat hung in the air, raw and unfiltered. For the first time that night, Musk felt the weight of real danger. Not corporate battles, not lawsuits, but the kind that came with a loaded weapon and a man who didn't care about consequences. "Officer, you're making a mistake," Musk said, his voice firm but steady. "You're escalating without cause. Let's de-escalate. Call your supervisor." KS chuckled, humorless, mocking. "The mistake was thinking you could pull rank on me." Before Musk could respond, KS reached for the door handle. Click. Musk's left hand shot to the inside handle, holding the door shut. "Step back, officer. You're out of line." KS didn't move. If anything, his grip tightened. "I said, get out," he growled, voice raw. Musk's mind raced, comply and lose control, or hold his ground and risk escalation. His right hand itched to reach for his phone, but he knew any sudden move could be twisted into justification. "You're crossing a line," he said, voice low but edged with command. "You know who I am. You've seen my ID. This isn't worth your career." Kay's lips curled into a smirk. "Career? I'm the law out here." Before Musk could respond, another sound pierced the tension. A voice, sharp and clear, from the side of the road. "Hey, I'm recording this." The voice from the roadside was like a lifeline cutting through the suffocating tension. "Hey, I'm recording this." Elon's eyes flicked toward the sound, careful not to turn his head too much. A woman stood about 30 feet away, phone raised, the glow of the screen lighting her glasses. She was far enough to be safe, but close enough to capture every detail. KS's stance, his hand on the gun, and Musk pinned in his car. "You sure you want to do this, officer?" she called, her voice steady. KS froze. The shift in his posture was immediate. A flicker of hesitation, a crack in the armor. He didn't lower his weapon, but his eyes darted between the woman and Musk, calculating. Elon seized the moment. "Put the weapon down," he said, voice stronger now, carrying the authority that came with decades of commanding high-stakes teams. "You're being recorded. This is over." KS's jaw tightened. His breathing grew shallow. The woman, Sarah, as Musk would later learn, kept her phone steady. "I've got it all, officer. The whole world's going to see this," she called out again. The words hit like a hammer on the foundation of KS's bravado. For a long moment, no one moved. The night felt frozen, the hum of the cruiser's engine the only sound. In the distance, faint but growing louder, another siren. The first flash of new lights broke over the horizon. Seconds later, another police cruiser pulled up, its headlights sweeping across the scene. The door swung open, and a second officer stepped out, broad-shouldered, his badge catching the light. His nameplate read Blake. "What's going on here?" Blake asked, his voice low, cautious, like he was stepping into a minefield. KS didn't turn toward him. His eyes stayed locked on Musk. "Non-compliant driver," KS said flatly, the words clipped. "Rehearsed," a label Musk knew too well from reports twisted to justify force. Elon's jaw tightened. That phrase was a weapon in itself. Officer Blake, Musk said, reading the name with measured clarity. I was pulled over without cause, threatened with a firearm, and ordered out of my vehicle without explanation. I've complied with every lawful request. Now I'm asking you to detain Officer KS. KS's head whipped toward Blake. You can't be serious, he started, but Blake's arm came up, halting him. Easy, Blake muttered, but there was a tension in his tone. Sarah's voice rang out again, cutting the night like a blade. It's all on video, officers, the gun, the threats, everything. Do you want to be on the news tomorrow? Blake's eyes darted to her, then back to KS. He was weighing options. Another siren approached fast. A third cruiser pulled up, and from it stepped a lieutenant, silver bars glinting on his collar. He took in the scene in one sweep, the gun at KS's side, Musk's steady gaze. Sarah's recording. Somebody want to explain this? The lieutenant demanded. Elon didn't hesitate. Lieutenant, I'm Elon Musk. This officer pulled me over without cause, threatened me with his weapon, and refused to acknowledge my identification. This woman has it all on video. I want him detained now. The lieutenant's expression hardened as he turned to KS. Is that true? KS's voice faltered for the first time. He was non-compliant. Non-compliant. Sarah stepped closer, holding her phone higher. He showed you his ID, told you who he was, and you pulled a gun on him. It's all right here. The lieutenant's jaw set. Cuff him. Kayser's eyes went wide. You can't, he started, but Blake was already moving. Turn around, Blake ordered, his tone low but commanding. For a moment, KS didn't move. His chest rose and fell in sharp bursts, defiance simmering just beneath the surface. But with the lieutenant's gaze locked on him and Sarah's phone still recording every second, he finally spun around, his hands lifting slowly. Blake's cuffs clicked into place with a sound that seemed to drain the last bit of arrogance from him. Musk stepped out of his car, standing tall despite the fatigue gnawing at him after the long night. He kept his eyes on the lieutenant. I appreciate you stepping in, he said. His voice wasn't triumphant, it was steady, focused. But I need to make sure this doesn't disappear in some internal file. The lieutenant gave a curt nod. This will be handled, Mr. Musk. Sarah lowered her phone slightly, walking closer. Her expression softened, but there was still fire in her voice. Don't just handle it, she said to the lieutenant. People get hurt, killed, because guys like him think a badge means they can do whatever they want. I'm sending this video to multiple outlets tonight. KS turned his head over his shoulder, sneering. You think this is going to ruin me? I'll be back in uniform in a week. Musk's gaze sharpened. Maybe, he said quietly. Or maybe this is the last night you carry a gun and a badge. That's up to your department and the court of public opinion. The lieutenant cut in. Enough. Officer KS, you're under arrest for misconduct and unlawful use of force. Officer Blake, get him in the car. As KS was led to the second cruiser, Musk finally allowed himself a slow breath. Sarah approached, extending her hand. Name's Sarah Lawson. You okay? Musk took her hand firmly. I am, thanks to you. That could have gone very differently without your phone. She gave a small smile. You've probably dealt with worse. Musk shook his head slightly. Different kinds of pressure. Rockets don't get offended when you ask questions. A faint chuckle broke the tension for just a moment. But then Musk's expression sobered again. This video, it's going to matter. Not just for me. For anyone who's ever been on the wrong side of a badge for no reason. Sarah nodded. Then let's make sure it gets seen. The lieutenant returned, looking uncomfortable. Mr. Musk, we'll need a statement tonight. We can do it at the station, or we'll do it here. Musk interrupted. Right now, while the cameras are rolling. The camera light from Sarah's phone cast a sharp glow as Elon stood by the hood of his Tesla. The lieutenant looked uneasy, but Musk didn't give him room to interrupt. You can keep this official, Musk began, his voice carrying the calm precision of someone used to high-stakes press conferences. I'm making my statement now. Sarah steadied her phone, ensuring every word was recorded. This evening, Musk continued, I was pulled over without probable cause. I was threatened with a firearm by Officer KS after complying with every lawful request. I asked for a supervisor. Instead, I was met with escalation. If it weren't for this witness, the story tonight might have ended very differently. The lieutenant shifted his weight, but stayed silent. Every officer on scene knew the weight of those words. Musk's tone deepened. This isn't about me. I have resources. I have visibility. But countless others don't. Incidents like this happen every day. Two people whose names you'll never hear, whose lives are upended without warning. That has to change. He paused, letting the silence do the work. In the background, the blue-red lights washed over the cracked asphalt. I expect full transparency in the handling of this incident, Musk added. And I expect Officer Chaos to be held accountable under the same laws he's sworn to uphold. No special treatment, just justice. Sarah lowered her phone slightly, meeting Musk's eyes. That'll go viral by morning, she said softly. Musk gave a small, humorless smile. Good, maybe it'll start a conversation people have been avoiding for too long. The lieutenant finally spoke. We'll file the charges tonight. You're free to go, Mr. Musk. Blake stepped forward, his voice quieter. For what it's worth, I'm glad she was here, he said, nodding towards Sarah. Musk glanced at her, then back to Blake. So am I. With that, Musk slid back into his car. The door closed with a solid thud. Sarah stepped back, still holding her phone, the red recording light blinking. The cruisers began to peel away one by one, their lights fading into the darkness. As he pulled onto the open road, the adrenaline ebbed, replaced by something heavier, resolve. He knew this night wouldn't be buried under routine paperwork. He'd make sure of it. Somewhere out there, someone would watch Sarah's video and see themselves in it. And maybe, just maybe, the next stop wouldn't end with a gun pointed through a window.